But first, joining us, former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. Have you ever seen such hypocrisy? Am I wrong? Isn't the left liberals, aren't they supposed to be the people that support freedom of expression, the free and open exchange of ideas and ideals and opinions? And they find somebody they don't like. They don't like the Fox News channel. They don't like Talk Radio Boy. They know how to shut them down pretty quickly, don't they? They know where to go, right to the financial heart of these shows.
Well, sure. Look, what you had is the 30-year evolution with people like George Soros paying for it of a left-wing fascism which believes that it has to totally discredit anybody who gets in its way. And that's what we're up against. And I think you have to recognize that whether it's on a college campus or whether it is in politics or it's in the news media, they are trying to impose a single mindset on the whole country. And their tactics are intimidation and ruthlessness. And this whole current gimmick of let's go after the advertisers. And, of course, the advertisers respond to social pressure because the people they're really going after are the CEOs and the people who like being part of polite society. And so they get told by all of their left-wing friends, you must be a horrible person. And it does happen. Now, I watched this happen to Rush 20 years ago, and he simply outlasted it. He simply said, fine, I'll go find new advertisers, and I'll go my audience is big enough, I don't care. And I think what we will eventually beat them down because I've noticed even today, for example, there was a column in the Washington Post by a liberal taking on the left on campuses and talking about the degree to which they were behaving like Mussolini and like fascism in Italy. It was pretty impressive that this guy had finally had enough and just could not defend them anymore.
You know, it's pretty amazing. It's really sad that, for example, I'm the latest target, and I'm not the only one, and you've watched this unfold over the years. You see what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to take out the Fox News channel, and I think they're trying to do it before the 2018 and 2020 elections, because I think they believe, right or wrong, that Fox had an impact on the last election cycle. And it seems like anybody that likes the president, says nice things about the president, doesn't buy the ridiculous conspiracy theory with no evidence to date. I'll report it if it comes. But, that it's a Russia-Trump collusion to get to WikiLeaks, the DNC emails. And all we hear is over and over again, there's no evidence of that. And yet they keep advancing it. And if you push back on it, it's like now they want to shut you down. Now they go after your advertising base. And finally, some conservatives said, okay, it's not a boycott, but we're going to do to you what you're doing to Hannity. We're going to list all your advertisers. We're going to list every outrageous, conspiratorial, insane thing you've said. And we're going to tell people to make up their own minds. Do you think that's the right strategy to finally end this?
Yeah, I think it's very important to fight fire with fire. And I think these are, frankly, people who have to be confronted. I agree with Dennis Prager when he wrote a column recently saying this is the second American Civil War. I think the people on the left were so shaken by Hillary Clinton losing on election night when they had been told up to about 9 o'clock at night that she was going to win. They were so shattered. It was such a searing experience that they've become deranged. And they went from the comfortable knowledge that they were going to now impose left-wing values using the power of the federal government to watching Donald Trump begin to roll back the bureaucracies, roll back the regulations. You look at a Trump speech and you compare it to an Obama speech, you can see how dramatically more conservative he is, and that's driving the left crazy.
It really is. What do you make of all of these developments that Obama loosens these rules as it relates to unmasking and the number of agencies that have access to raw intelligence? And what I'm talking about is, for example, Michael Flynn, I guess, is the best case. And here's a guy that was picked up incidentally. He wasn't minimized. Then it got leaked, which is a violation of the Espionage Act. Then it destroyed his career. And what do you make of the dramatic increases that have occurred as a result of Obama lightening the rules and lessening the rules and allowing the sharing of all of this raw intelligence?
Well, look, I think it was deliberate. I think they knew going out of power that they wanted to do everything they could to cripple the incoming Trump administration. And ironically, by the way, with all the talk about Jared Kushner and informal backroom connections, it now turns out that, in fact, Obama had backroom connections to Iran during the transition period. And that the very things the left is shocked by are things that Barack Obama did. So, I think that anytime you see a story that starts with an unnamed source, you should assume that it's a lie, because their sources are afraid to tell the truth in public. And so the number of Washington Post and New York Times stories that have been based on unnamed sources is truly astonishing.
Let me ask you, one of the things I'd like America to get back in touch with is the Trump agenda, and that is the president and his White House. But he's had to deal with all the leaks from within the White House. He's had to deal with the deep state leaks. I think the deep state is the most dangerous threat to the country and freedom and liberty and our constitutional Fourth Amendment rights that we've ever seen in our lifetime. It really is scary when you see that people are surveilled, unmasked, and they leak intelligence, raw intelligence on people, and it seems to happen again and again. How does this end? How do you stop it?
Look, I wrote my newsletter last week on which people can get at Gingrich Productions, and I wrote it on, the title of it was Lock Up the Leakers. I want to draw a distinction. Political leaking is as old as American politics, and that's just, if you have somebody in your staff who's not loyal and they go out and leak, that's one thing. But when you start leaking American secrets, you are breaking the law. And I actually think they ought to have every person in the White House go through a briefing on secrecy laws and sign a note saying that they have been warned what the legal consequences are. And they just need to start locking people up. I mean, the damage done to us, I thought Secretary Kelly on Sunday, our great American patriot, said at one point, and he said, in my mind, this verges on treason. And I agree with him. These are people who are capriciously weakening America, threatening the lives of our agents, and crippling our allies' ability to work with us. And this doesn't sound like a political game for reporters. This is a very dangerous pattern, historically, that puts America at risk.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is that there's not a lot of days left in the legislative calendar, a little over a month, and they're on vacation again this week. By the way, you ever see people take more vacation than these people in Congress? What the hell is that? They almost take as much vacation as you do, for crying out loud, and you're semi-retired.
I know, it's brutal. It's brutal.
And I have to interview you with the Penguins when you're in Antarctica, wherever the heck you are. And
next week I'm going to do my interviews from Normandy because Philistine's band is playing at St. Mary Greece for D-Day. But they have a telephone over there, and I'm going to call you, and I'll be on the show.
Do you know that 5 days for me in a row was an eternity over Memorial Day weekend? And that's like the longest I get, except around Christmas. That's it.
I know, but you're so much younger than me.
Oh, you're killing me. You're absolutely killing me. I want to ask this. I don't know. I don't really want to drag you into this whole thing. If every single solitary person from Clapper to Comey to Admiral Rogers to Brennan to Manchin to Feinstein to even Maxine Waters all saying there's no evidence of collusion, how do you justify the thousands of hours that the media has spent advancing what we have no evidence for?
It's not complicated. They hate him. They hate Trump. They wake up every morning hating Trump. They spend all day watching on TV and it reminds them how much they hate him. And anything they can do to weaken him, to undermine him, to smear him, that's why I've advocated closing down daily briefings. That's why I've advocated moving the press up to Jackson Place and getting him out of the White House. These aren't reporters. These are attackers. When you have a network that Harvard study said the one network was 93% negative. Now, why don't you have them participate as though they were reporters? They're not. They're the opposition. And by the way, I think Governor Johnson did a brilliant job shutting down one of the actors.
Yeah.
Everything you're saying is a supposition. They've not said a single fact.
All right, Mr. Speaker, stay right there. We're going to reconnect with you. Your line's just cutting out there at the end.